Alright, so this is the third part of the Advanced Skeleton tutorial series. I'm going to be going over the face setup. So before you do anything, if you have the body set up correctly and you have the joints weighted to your mesh, good idea to save off another copy just in case something goes horribly wrong with the face setup. You can always go back and start from your earlier save. I'll close the body tab, open up the face tab. So we're going to start with create face fit skeleton node. And you just want to kind of scale this down until it's just covering your head area. It should be just like right, this looks good, right above or right below where your chin sits. And you can line this up with where you had it for the body setup, this other nerve circle. Now we're going to go through, select everything, and place it in these boxes. And this is why it's important to have everything as a separate mesh, and also really important why we had to go through all that trouble of making our mesh symmetrical. So select, for the face, you just want your main body. If you have your head separate, just select the head, but you don't want to select your eyes and teeth and everything. That's this step here, all head. So we select the face. This probably will take a little while because it has to go through and check all those vertices, and essentially what it's doing is making sure that it is symmetrical. Alright, so if it is fully symmetrical, you'll get this box popping up, and you want to weight face to head joint. So you'll be replacing what you set up with the body setup. Alright, now for the all head, you can just close this, open it up with shift, and that'll show you everything. So you want to select everything that's related to the head. So the body, the teeth and tongue and gums, the hair plates, the eye models. If you have XGen, don't select the XGen. You don't want those weighted, and I don't think it'll even recognize it. It only really recognizes polys. And all head. And then, yes, create new skin cluster. If you didn't select all your geometry the first time, you weighted it. And then it's pretty straightforward. You want to just go through and select what you have for each thing. And there's little question mark boxes if you're not sure. I always open them up, even though I've done this so many times. So right eye, left eye, upper teeth, and I'll just show you for the demo. Remember before I said it's really important to have these separate, or it's not super important, but it helps. So I'm selecting the gums and upper teeth for the upper teeth, for the lower teeth, selecting the lower gums and lower teeth, and then the tongue. You can click advanced. I think we're going to skip this step. All right, let's turn this back on. So this just creates like a little eyeball locator, and this will replace the eyes from the body setup, which we want to do. And for this, I just bring it forward a little. And my eyes are set up and they're actually rotated out, I think -4 degrees. So if you want this eyeball to match up perfectly, you want to rotate -4. It just makes the eyes look a little bit more natural, especially if your camera is set up with a really small focal length. it can make your eyes look a little bit cross-eyed if they're not angled out slightly. All right, that's good. Now we're going to do the eyelid outer. So this should be just about where the eyelid folds over. And one thing that really helps is there should be a center line that runs through your eyelid. So it's this poly loop here. If you look here, this is the blinking poly loop. This is the center loop where the eyelid is going to come down. So one of the things that I like to do, which gives, you know, cleaner deformation. I think this is the one I selected. Or let's do this one. Go over to your toolbox, select multi-component, and you want to select the vertices on either end. And then this, you'll see in a second, we'll make it so the upper and bottom are perfectly separated. So eyelid outer. This takes a little bit because it is a little bit heavy. Say a prayer, hopefully it didn't freeze. There we go. And so now you have that loop separated perfectly where you want it. Here's the eyelid main. So this is going to be the loop where the eyelids come down to meet when blinking. And I think that's about right. And again, you want to go to multi-component. Oops. Select those middle vertices. And hit main. Let me hide the eyeball locator. And I'll hide the eyes. I'll hide the teeth. So now this next one, the eyelid inner. You can just go in and select. It's not too important which one, but you do want it to be a clean loop. And then you can also multi-component, select the right vertex. Oops. You can use this little assist tool and it'll pull out your eyelid. I usually don't do that. I just usually hide the eye and then zoom in. There you go. Now you have the whole eyelid set up. Next is the lips. I'm going to say this is probably the better loop to pick, although none of them are really ideal. And outer. Now you can select the vertice with this as well, but I found that it usually gives me really weird results. Next is the lip inner. Or I should say lip main. There we go. And then the lip inner, similar to what we did with the eyelid. Select the edge. Could be any one of these. So let's just use this one. You see I'm within the mouth bag. Actually, let's do this outer one. And I'll just show you what this looks like. It'll give you the assist as well. It'll pull out the lips if you want. Lip inner. Alright. And that's the result we get. Next is the eyebrow. Let me actually shading extra joints. So for this, you're just selecting a single vertex, and it helps if you have. Let me turn on the eyebrow plate, or turn on the hair plate. So this looks like it should be maybe this one or this one. And select an eyebrow outer. Then eyebrow middle. Select this one. Now for the forehead, it's 3 vertices. This first one, you want to line up with the eyelid. I think gives the best result. And select the middle vertex. So this poly loop lines up with where the eye blink is. And then the next one, follow the center line up. Somewhere around here is usually good. And then you want to follow this loop all the way around as best you can to here. I think it's one of these. Oops, should select. So let me just follow this line. Oop, that was one off. So then you have these 3 placed, and then you hit forehead, and it should build out something for you. There you go. This just makes it really clean. Now you can see here in the example, not everyone's forehead is going to be built like this, and if you have to just kind of guess where to place them, it's going to be fine. All right, draw pivot. Let me turn off the hair. I think the rest of these are just plain vertices, and if your mesh is really dense like this, you can kind of just select any of these. Draw a corner. And then, luckily, where this was set up, so when you select this one, it's going to replace the jaw that you had for the body setup. And just say OK. The throat is the center line here, about, I guess, a little bit above the Adam's apple. It should be good. Maybe one more down. Cheek. Say somewhere here. Cheekbone. The cheek razor. This is what's going to, when you smile, your bottom lid goes up. That's what's going to do this. Actually, probably a little bit more in the center. Oops. A smile bulge. Oops. It's probably right around here or here. So this is like when your smile goes back and then this nasal labial fold creases. That's where you want to aim for. Frown bulge. Similarly, I think down here should be good. It's kind of just marking off where the skin folds. The nose is the center tip. Nose under. And the nose corner is probably here. All right, you can save. Now it's going to set up the jaw curves. You don't have to select anything. And those look pretty good. You can see what they're supposed to look like here. And I'll go over these extra controls since we have the topology for it. So our nose side is about here. Nose middle. So this is just like the center of the bridge. And then the nostril is kind of, it looks like maybe about here where the nostril meets the ball of the nose. Maybe one up. Next is the tongue. You can just hide everything except for the tongue. And this is just going to give you a bunch of locators. It'll show you where to place them. So this one looks good. Let me turn on. Or no, X-ray. I think you want them a little bit more concentrated. You don't necessarily want them evenly spaced. You want them a little bit more concentrated towards the tip of the tongue because that's where all the deformation is going to be taking place. And this one is at the very tip here. And this is for non-symmetrical eyeballs. All right. I think, oh, we missed the extra eyelid controls and the extra eyebrow controls, which I usually do. Gives you a little bit extra control over your facial rig. So let me turn off X-ray. I'll turn on this. Let me turn on the hair. So eyelid droopy is just the outer portion of the eyelid. It's kind of like the eye bag. That's a little bit too big. I think we want it underneath. That should be good. We want it slightly underneath the eyebrow. All right. Oh, nice. I didn't even do the vertices selection without having selected the vertices. All right, and then the eyebrow mid 1, 2, and 3. Hide the forehead so it's a little bit easier to see. One. Vertex. This will be 2. And then 3 can be here. Well, it doesn't have to be necessarily perfect. There you go. And I think that's it for all the optional stuff. We don't need to worry about the non-symmetrical. Now it's time to save before you do the build. Now there's 2 options to build the face. You can just let it do the auto build for you and it'll run through all the steps, or you can go through each step individually. And I guess I've done both, and I think both give me good results. You might want to tweak some stuff. I'll go through the individual steps just so you guys can see. Control box, build the eyeball. And then you can, well, it would help to turn them on. You can test eye rotation. Build out the eyelid. So I'm not 100% sure on the technical aspects of how this works, but I'm pretty sure that it's using cloth simulation to give a more natural stretchiness to the skin. So now, this is what I was talking about, I think the sticky eyelid. See how when the eye moves, the eyelid moves with it? They call it, yeah, test blink and fleshy eye. I can turn this off. Build the squint. That looks good. Eyebrow. Build the lips. Lip fall off. I think generally does a good job, but you can control how many vertices the fall off reaches too. That'll do the jaw. So now if you want to check your jaw deformation, you can scrub through the timeline. Looks good. Looks a little weird because I don't have my teeth on. Then finish with the jaw if you're happy with that. There we go. We're going to build zipper lips. I think this is a relatively new addition. And what it does is it lets the corners of the mouth stick. And so if you only want to open up the middle of the lips and have the corners pinned down, it gives you that option. Looks good. Nose controllers. Smile pull. This is actually the one area that I usually mess with because I think this smile is really awkward. And you can see I've got some clipping going on here, so I usually just pull this out a little bit and pull it down a little bit more natural looking. And just hit done. And hit smile bulge. Actually, that's good where it is. Say done, and then build a cheek razor. I have to have this come up a little bit more. There we go. It's better to have it a little bit more extreme than you would, and then you have that option if you really want to go that far, than to not have it enough. So done. Build the frown. Frown, like the smile, is another area where it could look a little weird. This looks alright. I pulled this in a little bit. Just done, and then build mouth narrow. Let's see. See, again, we're going to have a little bit of clipping. Oops. What can I do to fix this? There you go. Just scaling up a little bit. scale it down on the Y a little bit. Well, I mean, it's going to be different for every model. And this is like finishing the mouth setup, or the smile setup. Build the cheek controllers. That looks good. Done. And hit build. Build the tongue. Build regions. Eye aim. And then the phenomes. This is if you're gonna do any lip syncing or have any lip syncing software you want to plug in. It gives you blend shapes of every mouth movement for talking. Really useful for game design. All right, and then finish. And hopefully you made it through. Great. All right, that's where I'm going to stop. I'm going to cover in the next section. I'll do the weight painting, and then I'll do like connecting the eyelashes, and actually I'll just do the eyelashes and eyeballs and eyebrows right now. I guess it's still considered part of the face. It's not really extra. So you can create layers. You can add tweaks. The only ones I really do are the eyeball. This lets you control the size of the pupil and the iris. Attach the eyebrows, attach the eyelashes, face extras, beard, mustache, etc. I do have a beard plate, so I will be attaching that. Delta Mush works a lot better, I would say, with a cartoon character. If you're going for a more realistic character, you really don't want to use this. It'll give you cleaner deformation for sure, but it'll wash out a lot of detail. Same with Head Squash, better for cartoon characters. I usually don't do blend shapes. And the simplified face setup, I think, is just for exporting the game. Game engines. All right, so let's start with this. The right pupil. You know, select this. And then the iris. Hopefully you have clean loops around both of those. And then same with the left. Hide the sclera. Select the left pupil loop and then the left iris loop. Oh, just a note, this is left and right of the character, not your left and right. So if you were this character, it would be your left eyeball and right eyeball, not looking at them. And then set up the eyeball. I usually just include the iris size attribute. If you really want to change the size of the iris, you have it there. Might as well. It doesn't take any time to set it up. The eyebrows. this is really just attaching, skinning the weights to your hair plates. Select eyebrows and skin weight face. I try to stay away from wrap deformers because those are really heavy on the processing and they can slow down your rig. Eyelashes. Make sure you're only selecting the plates. You don't need to select the X-Gen. Or if your eyelashes are straight geometry or eyebrows are straight geometry, then select the geometry. But in this case, it's plates driving X-Gen. Beard plate. Let me do the beard plate and the hair plate. All right. Now it's time that you have all that done. Save a new copy. So this is the 4th iteration. So now you can go, if this, for whatever reason, doesn't work out or you want to change stuff around, you can go back before you had any of this face setups started, and you'll have to redo it, but at least you won't have to start back from the beginning. So let's just test this out and make sure everything's working. It's a little slow because the X-Gen is on, but looks like it's all working. Looks pretty good. So now I'm going to finish the face setup. And the next one, I'll just go over painting weights and corrective shapes